to our first match here. We'll talk a little bit more about the format, plus a little bit about our players and the setup happening here. But most importantly, spawning in the top left of Romanticides, our blue Terran player for the Shopify Rebellion. This is BYUN. And spawning in the bottom right is our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. This is nice. Nice. There's no match arena for this, not our event. Deal. Told you it was gonna be a mysterious mystery up until the moment that it was painfully obvious for all of us. So in this best of 9, we will more than likely see a fair amount of strategies brought out to the table. Something that's really nice to see in comparison to some of the smaller, like best of 3s, best of 5s, is the chance for players to maybe take risks, play something that's been unorthodox, something outside of their wheelhouse, something that might not be as close to a guarantee as maybe a more common meta build or something that they know will be very, very successful. Makes life a little bit more interesting for the players. It definitely makes it more interesting for the viewers, though, because we get a chance to peer deep into the well of StarCraft knowledge that these players ultimately bring. Because think about all the different ways that these players might play on their own, cruising on the ladder, or even just like practicing with a partner on their own. I think it's definitely worth learning more about these different players and what they can actually do with their units and their compositions when given an opportunity in a slightly less competitive atmosphere where thousands of dollars are not on the line. And we can just let them, like, be players. Yo, what's up, Kozan? Kozan, my hero. Folks, let me tell you a little bit about this man, Kozan. Usually Kozan covers this event. And I'm going to do maybe about 40% of the job that he does. But my man, Kozan, bailed me out because I am an irresponsible lad. I can already hear Kozan laughing and being like, nothing wrong. Nothing to worry about. And then he would console me with the greatest joke the Dutchman can tell that's legal. And it would just make me smile. So, but anyways, we didn't come here to talk about my bromance with Kozan. We did come to talk about this game that is finally firing up just a little bit here. To Stargate opener here for Nice. He's going to go directly into Phoenix. Should be really nice, provide a little bit of on-the-map harassment and get some decent scouting information. But BYUN's the kind of player that likes to bring a little bit of funk into his playstyle, pulling the smallest amount of units that he could imaginably get damage done with, and just making a devastating amount of impact with that little hit squad, while building up the world's largest, grossest army composition back behind it. Oh, that's gonna sneak on in. That's a bit unfortunate here. More than likely, that might pull Nice out of position. It's not gonna be so bad here. BYUN was going to try and get in with those mines, but instead just going to park him to the north here, looking for those Phoenix. The Phoenix are also pre-split as well. Oh, look at this control. Very, very well done here. I mean, Nice literally played that about as perfectly as possible. Good pre-splits on those Phoenix, not going to take the splash damage, and doesn't lose a single Phoenix along the way. Back behind this, BYUN is just going to, again, just try and build up into that little force just to see how much he can get done with as little as possible. But the Add-ons are already swapping right now. We are getting those bio upgrades. Stim pack on the way, plus 1 infantry as well. Third base is already down and on the way as Nice starts to transition into a little bit of that mid-game army composition, picking up the Twilight Council, grabbing that Forge as well. He hasn't really been able to make a full use of these Phoenix just yet. Now, 5 of them on the map. They need to hold down a little bit of a timing transition here, as Nice is still working on his gateway production. This is now finally going to be his moment to shine here. He's got enough Phoenix to really deal a decent amount of damage. Picks up a few mules, grabs 6 SUVs on the way. But now Nice has to find a way to respond to this, and there isn't that much. A shield battery overcharge is going to be helpful, but what's here to really stop this from transgressing forward? The Phoenix are finally going to get brought back here, and that will help by eliminating a little bit of the bio that'll be here. Surprisingly enough, a pretty decent hold, all things considered. There are a few pieces of bio left alongside the tank, but I think some weapons will clean that up. Nice is going to take shield damage on his Nexus, but he's not going to lose anything major here. Oh, but those slow zealots need to go after the tank too. Ugh. Yeah, this is not going as well as it otherwise could have. 10 workers, though, finally do get taken down as a result, which is not wonderful. I think that unfortunately went much better for the Terran player than Nice would have anticipated. So once again, these Phoenix have to try and come out here and find some sort of damage, but not really getting that much. The biggest upside right now for Nice is the fact that the third base has been delayed for so long. I mean, we're at the 7:15 mark, and there isn't even a third base on the field yet. Oh, these have to be very, very careful, though. Stimpack is done. I don't think BYUN's showing it just yet, but at any point, especially with how weak these Phoenix are, he could just turn on that ignition and really bulldoze his opponent. But it seems like BYUN is just going to try and, once again, move across the map. BYUN finally getting that third base set and in place. Will Nice have enough to really deal with this? I think for right now, he should be fine. Charge is going to finish up. Once Charge finishes up, that really adds a lot of value to this. Those 10 worker kills? Oh, geez. It's a BYUN game. I gotta watch the mine drops better. Okay. We'll improve on that. And just constantly look for that blue dot, like right there and right there. Improvements will be coming. So this is where BYUN thrives. He creates a little bit of chaos with that army and slowly starts stacking those armies together as he finds ways to extend the longevity of the setup here. Good stim will create some chaos, but he's going to have to stay pretty far back with those force fields locked into place. That's actually a really nice lockdown here, kind of pinning one of those mines in that back corner. Not allowing those mines to get forward is going to create a little bit more leverage for Nice as he tries to reposition here. He has already popped his shield battery overcharge, so that's not going to pan out for him in the long run. He now has to find a way to extend to this, but BYUN has more and more coming across the map. He's got 131 to 89. The probes have been pulled off of the line, but once those mines get back into the corner, it's going to slowly shut this down, but it comes at the cost of so many probes. I mean, more units coming across. There's an additional set of medevacs. Nice is doing everything he can to really anchor this down, but he just is losing steam. Those warpins not coming in as fast as he otherwise would like. It's pretty decent micro, but it's not going to be enough. BYUN locks in game number 1 in this best of 9. We have a long ways to go, but it's a good start for the Blue Terran. Spawning in the top left of Romanticide, it's our blue Protoss player for Alpha X. This is Nice. And spawning in the bottom right, our red Terran player playing for the Shopify Rebellion. This is BYUN. No, I would totally agree with that sentiment there, Kozan. Nice is got some good competitive spirit to him, but playing against a BYUN who's at home in his comfiest chair, his kitchen is right nearby, make himself a snack or some tea as the day goes on, playing at his desk that's like perfectly set up. I think it's going to be like a painful reawakening when people end up going back to offline events and it's like, wait a minute, I can't like preset the lights here. I can't put my screen exactly at the eye level that I'm looking for. Man, my chair just doesn't quite adjust the right way. It shakes a little bit. Oh, I think it's gonna go one of two ways. It's either going to be a super impactful change, like, oh man, we've lived with these things for so long. Let's try and fix it. Let's do what we can to make it better for the players and the audience. Or it's just gonna be, oh yeah, I forgot how crummy this experience can be. Oh, but that being said, I imagine that we are going to get a large amount of support for offline events here in the next 6 to 8 months. Should be really, really good. Now, this is going to be really interesting here. Nice not opting for the standard wall off in PvT. Just going to allow this Reaper just so much damage potential here. Now, finally, that shield battery is going to get popped up, so it's only going to cost him 1 probe at this point, but he opts for the really fast Nexus on the low ground and just putting that wall in down at the bottom as well. So this could be the interesting type of build order that we anticipated needing to happen here, but BYUN's kind of doing the same thing as well. He's got concussive shells actually already finishing up. Those Marauders are going to be on the map. Anticipating the Blink Stalker push here, which seems to be the case with this Twilight Council now finishing up. It'll be interesting to see if he wants to commit into that Blink Stalker, knowing that there are Marauders out on the map, or if he might try and pivot into something just a little bit different. Maybe go for a charge all in, maybe get a depths, but really having concussive shell Marauders in general is just going to be very, very strong against our Protoss player. Well, here's the pivot. The pivot's going to be into a Dark Shrine. Oh, but if BYUN scouts this, that's going to be really difficult to deal with. Uh-oh. And I think he got really close to it, but he didn't spot it. That Stalker getting a little bit far outside of its bounds. One of those Marauders will get picked and cleaned off. But can BYUN spot this Dark Shrine that's coming up here? He's got the Reaper in the base, and Nice should be able to pick this off here with Stalkers. How? Okay. I'm like, how is that still alive? Now, 5 workers have been killed off. I think that was just a depth work down at the natural here. But, this crucial information is not happening here for BYUN. This is Nice's opportunity. He's going to have a Warp Prism out across the map. Things are going to be rocking and rolling for our blue Protoss player, and this could be really good opportunity to strike here, especially if he can time this out with the scans not being available on those orbital commands. So if a couple of mules go dropping down, that could be a devastating amount of damage. There's no engineering bay. There's no opportunity to throw down any missile turrets or get any additional detection here. Starport doesn't have a tech lab on it, so this could be a very strong timing. It is going to be just 2 DTs, not going to overcommit here. There go the mules. This is a lot of damage, and Nice just gets it. BYUN has to tap out. Oh, what beautiful timing here. Our Protoss player evens up the series 1-1. Well, alrighty. Bit of a, I hate to say disappointing start. The probe's going to be able to get over really, really quick here to apply a little bit of pressure onto the building SCV. That's going to get very, very low. Just 1 hit away. That barracks is going to be allowed to finish. Easy peasy. Not even a concern in the world. Okay, Cybernetics Core into Nexus. Playing it pretty safe, pretty standard, pretty fair. Now BYUN's gonna opt to build his second base on the high ground. It's going to delay a little bit of the scouting information here for Nice. I think Nice should be able to safely assume that a second base would be coming. But to be fair, without knowing for certain, yeah, I mean, this could put him a little bit on edge, and he is going to drop down the shield battery just in case. It would have been so easy once the probe was vacated here. You stop that factory. You could drop down the tech lab once again. That Marauder push can be deadly if Nice doesn't also have something cheeky and aggressive coming across the map at him. And since Nice is committing into a slower, more calculated macro opening, it makes things just a tiny bit easier to deal with. So not a major concern though right now. Nice is going to duck on up. It's a matter of whether or not he's going to be able to get any follow-up information here. So he is going to pop up. Should see pretty much nothing. Not a whole lot. But he's not going to get any follow-up. That Hellion will clean off the remainder of his information. And now Nice has got to start wondering what's actually going to be coming at him. He's got Stalkers in production, so there should be enough to really maybe deflect this Hellion back on the opposite side of the map. The Stalkers should be able to now see that there is, in fact, an orbital command. That might just prompt him to leave. But BYUN's going to get all the way up. He's going to start zooming around, catches the robotics facility that's going to be producing an Immortal. Shield battery going to be a good unit here. Ooh, is that going to get one last blast? No. Oh, but this is a pretty good situation here for Nice. That Hellion managed to find one kill. Not a bad set of circumstances here. Every little bit makes a huge difference here, and Nice is going to find a lot of value with these 3 Stalkers out across the map. It's going to be followed by an additional amount of forces. That one Immortal on the way. BYUN just going to try and surround this as well. Oh yeah, these Stalkers are going to be toast. One's going to go down almost immediately. The follow-up units are going to be here as well. Nice trying to take a page out of BYUN's playbook and find a way to deal lots of damage with a few amount of units. I think the siege tank will officially push this back off. That's going to shove everything back home. Observer will be able to get the follow-up requisite scout, but more than likely he's just going to see a transition coming into play. He sees those barracks in production, but he wants to keep the pressure on. War Prism's going to pick up 2 of those Stalkers alongside the medevac. Or alongside the Immortal, excuse me, and we'll be moving on into the main base of BYUN, while this medevac is going to go try and trade damage on the opposite side. Now, Nice is going to get a chance to see this very, very quickly, but he's trying to micro on the opposite side of the map. There's just enough Marines here to really cause a good defense to be on the books, but there's not going to be a whole lot here to deal with these Marines. 2 of those workers go down. The shield battery overcharge has to be pulled as well. But I'm a bit concerned here. Where did the... Okay, there's the War Prism. War Prism must have been recalled back home. I got nervous for a moment. So overall, 3 of those probes ended up going down. Really only for the cost of 1 Marine. That ends up being a really, really good trade for BYUN. So Twilight Council is going to be on the way, making this a little bit more of a measured attack. +1 on the way alongside Stim. And we're not gonna miss more of the proxy harassment going forward. We're gonna try and get as much of it as possible here. So the Immortal is going to get a fair amount of damage. Staying just back far enough here that Siege Tank's not going to get enough done to deal with this. I think that was a follow command observer. Both players just trying to needle away at each other. The scary part, though, is BYUN is exploding forward on his production here. He chose to delay in game 1 as well as game 3 here, the third base production, so that he could get more of that army count out. And it really shows here. He's able to double the amount of army supply that he has over his opponent, meanwhile really deflecting a lot of the damage that is trying to be dealt out by Nice. And on top of that, he's able to pick off 3 more workers. He grabs a little bit more economic damage, keeping his opponent back at bay. And he stays pretty even. Like, if we take a look at that income advantage, I mean, he held a good chunk of that advantage, and only now with the set of kills is he really able to wrestle that back. So BYUN doing a wonderful job of keeping his opponent pinned back and away. And now, after being able to deflect so much of this damage out across the map, he has an army of his own moving out on that third base. I mean, this third base doesn't survive. Psystorm's at least another 30 seconds away from being finished, so this Nexus is just going to get knocked out in its entirety. There's 4 tanks here. And BYUN doesn't even have to stick around. He's warped in some charge lots on the opposite side of the map. Nice is going to find a little bit of return economic damage, but there isn't that much here really to provide a lot of extended damage for Nice. I think Nice is just going to have to really get all in. That being said, though, this Immortal getting an insane amount of damage here. It's going to pop out. I mean, look, it's already down in the red. Here comes Nice, though, with the follow-up force, but I mean, yeah, even with this this warp in on the opposite side of the map, it's 55 to 71. He has a fair number of Storms, and don't get me wrong, Storm's a good unit, but he's got to find a way to make the most of it here. Oh, one Storm whiffs and unfortunately just softens up all of his Zealots. That's not the way to do it. Second Storm's going to be able to land on the backside. Those are a little bit more timely, but it comes at the cost of pretty much all of his army. Most of this bio is stimmed, but those medevacs will do a great deal of healing. Not killing those off is the response that BYUN needed, and he will be able to just leapfrog forward here. His third base is going to be on the way. These Archons want to try and get in and deal just a little bit more damage, but the Warp Prism is going to get picked off. Ghosts are already out, and BYUN effectively deals with his Protoss opponent here in game number 3, bringing himself 2-1 in the series. Not going to dull our sparkle by any stretch of the imagination here. Let's go ahead and introduce our players here. Spawning in the bottom left, 2,000 atmospheres, our blue Terran player for the Shopify Rebellion. This is BYUN. And spawning in the top right, our red Protoss player playing for Alpha X. This is Nice. So Nice playing a more standard opening position here. Is he gonna go for the early Nexus? No, just scouting around. Nice is really concerned that BYUN is the one that's gonna be getting aggressive, which I find fascinating. I would most certainly think it would be the opposite way around. Now, despite the fact that there is going to be a wall off at the top of this little jump ramp, it does not eliminate the fact that there is still a jumpable location right over there. Hello? Okay, we decided we didn't want the pylon out front. Oh, he's just gonna... Okay, he's gonna wall that off as well. Smart. I've got no qualms with that. BYUN wants to get his Reaper up into the main base of Nice. He's just gonna have to do it the hard way. There aren't even any Reapers. So is this just a win for BYUN? Has he metagamed his opponent? You're gonna spend all that opportunity blocking my Reaper off? Well, fine. Just won't build any. Ooh, double barracks. This is an awfully aggressive situation, and it's gonna be an early engineering bay as well. Early +1? That's actually just gonna be really, really aggressive and powerful. So it delays the factory by a significant amount, but it's gonna be able to crank out production of those Marines by a very quick amount. The reactor down onto the barracks will immediately start flooding the opening with those Marines. Yeah, +1 already on the way. Is this gonna have stim? Yes, it will have stim alongside it. Now, if Nice is able to scout this, how does he respond? And he can easily throw down some shield batteries back at home, start winding himself up. He already has a Twilight Council down, and he's going to go for a Dark Shrine. He's trying to recreate game number 2. But this is going to be a much different scenario here for BYUN. BYUN's already got the engineering bay. He's already throwing down a missile turret as well. It's almost as if he has peered into the stars, and he's gone, wait a minute. How did I lose in game number 2? Well, this is how I lost. I didn't have any way to prevent you from sneaking in with the Shadow Boys. So not only is BYUN going to set himself up for a very quick, aggressive timing here. There's not going to be any Hellions. It's not going to be any medevacs. It's just going to be Stim Marines. But he also puts himself in position to protect against any possible situation coming at him in terms of a Dark Shrine. So now he can mule freely, doesn't have to worry about any sort of timing here. Additional barracks going to go down on top of this, but in all honesty, this number of Marines, provided that BYUN just doesn't donate them, ooh, he should be just fine. Oh, yeah, he's going to retreat. Immediately, this is a much better situation. However, there is no scan available just yet, so a lot of these buildings are going to be vulnerable. There goes the scan. Picking those off is going to be crucial. Now, he did lose a fair number of Marines. He does lose 8. And he loses a little bit of momentum on the push. So not being able to get across the map to actually punish Nice does put Nice in a bit of a good position here. Archons are going to trade really, really well against Marines only. He is still going to have to be careful, though. Stim Marines could just easily get in on top of the Warp Prism. And once the Warp Prism is gone, these Archons won't stand that great of a chance. I think the Archons can trade relatively efficiently. Oh, this is giving me like bad PTSD from Archons against Roaches in mid-game ZVP. So glad that we don't see that anymore. It's not like it was replaced by anything else that's just as difficult to deal with. Void Rays. Void Rays. All right, Nice going to take the most of this momentum. Does work on a third base location. BYUN needs to try and double down on his ability to get aggressive. He is going to throw down concussive shells. Combat shield also going to finish up about the same time. Infantry armor getting added in will make 1-1 incredibly powerful to try and play with. But Nice is going to do everything he can to try and capitalize on the income advantage. Look at this graph. This graph looks chaotic, but look at the numbers here. 300 is the most that it has peaked. So Nice has done a relatively good job of trying to get ahead economically. He's onto his third base. He has it relatively saturated. He's at 60 workers, but he has not been able to maximize a economic advantage over his opponent. So all of this harassment, all of this pressure has just led him to stay close, has kept the game even. I think that is worth noting. How many of those units did BYUN kill? You killed off 3 sentries. It's a fair amount of gas. It's a lot of gas, actually. And so far, BYUN has only traded out minerals. Anytime you can trade minerals for a significant amount of gas, it doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter the matchup. That's good. That's the good eats you're looking for. That mine just wiped that warp prism off the face of the map, and this is going to reinforce BYUN's push as well. No more harassment across the map means that BYUN can focus 100% of his resources onto this army push at the 3rd base location. Now, DT, just gonna run right on by. Yeah, that DT wants to find more damage out on the map. Charge has just finished, so this is a good timing for Nice, but 82 army supply, and he's gonna be able to knock down the rocks. Additional warpins are going to be helpful, but this is not looking like a well-planned defense here. Ooh, that concave though, pretty nice. It's a great force field's gonna split this army in half. Great pickups by those medevacs. This is the kind of micro we've come to expect from our blue Terran player. Just continues to grow in size as well. I was like, what's spotting for this? There's a missile turret down at the 3rd base location. So yeah, Nice just doesn't have any good follow-up at this point. He's going to have a robotics bay. Disruptors would be a nice addition, as well as Colossus. So whichever way he decides to go should be fine. The question is going to be whether or not he's able to get there. This army is large and in charge and wants to continue pushing on forward. This concave actually working out really well in BYUN's favor here. Those force fields kind of pushing the army up and away. Pretty decent hold micro on those mines. 1 mine still remaining. The probes have been pulled off of the line. These are not going to be able to help, though. They just get obliterated by the bio. 12 of those probes getting picked off almost immediately. Nice has to tap out, and BYUN up to 3-1 in this best-of-9 series, continuing to exercise his dominance over the Protoss player. Well played. We'll have to see what's going to be coming out here, but spawning in the top right, it's our blue Protoss player, down 1-3, looking for a little bit of life in this best-of-9 series for Alpha X. This is nice. And spawning in the bottom left for the Shopify Rebellion, our red Terran player, exercising a 3-1 lead. This is BYUN. Gosh, that was just a super quick probe. And he's just gonna harass with it. Bit of an interesting choice there. Because if you're Nice, what do you actually do with this? There really isn't that much. I mean, unless you are trying to get your opponent to blink. I guess BYUN's gonna go out with his own SCV and try and scout, but I mean, outside of that, there's really not that much going on here. And it seems like it's going to continue to be just a standard opening. I think Nice is going to scout. Yeah, drop down the Nexus almost immediately. So, no deviation on the opening here for Nice. BYUN just has to deal with that probe harassment a little bit earlier than otherwise normal. Just going to lose the probe anyways. Huh. So that can be the best thing and the worst thing about these best of nines. Best of nines give you a lot of opportunity to recover and build yourself back up in the series. But also, if you get on a skid, sometimes really difficult to get yourself off of that skid. All right, looks like it's going to be a similar opening here for BYUN. He's just going to run for very, very quick barracks play. This could end up being really, really good for him. Going to go into a Stargate for Nice. And I think in a Marine push without medevac support, Phoenix would not be as useful. Is he going to be able to see anything? No. Not going to see that just yet. Okay, this is going to be an Oracle instead of Phoenix. Nice, going to continue to try and get this scout off, but not going to find what he needs. An additional barrack's going to come down, so BYUN's just going to double down on this once again. Now, having the Oracle will be nice to deal some harassment, but I feel as if this is going to be what holds BYUN back into place. If BYUN's not careful, he could accidentally. Oh, that's a misclick. That's 100% a misclick. That's not the right amount of Marines to really elicit a response out of Nice. So he's going to lose the Adept. The Oracle now already pinned back with a large amount of damage. He will be able to get some damage done. 2 workers is not going to be enough, though. Give me additional Oracles. Now, that could be a proper response here. But again, Nice has to find a way to pin BYUN back. He's getting out to this third base location. He's trying to leverage a little bit of that economic advantage. But once again, BYUN able to just hold it down as good as he possibly can. Oh, he falls to a stasis trap, though. This is a huge moment for Nice. Nice is going to be able to punish the miscalculation here, but there's really no energy. BYUN just has himself insanely protected, so yeah, he should just be able to move with this. By the time he gets across the map, Stim Pack is going to be fully functional. It already is. +1 infantry on the way. There was going to be a follow-up of combat shield and concussive shells, but doesn't seem to be the case. He's just decided he's going to lean into the production a little bit harder. Oh, these Oracles are not going to be in the right place at the right time. There's only 3 sentries, and the sentries are going to be helpful, but they're just going to buy a little bit of time. Okay, additional sentries are going to be nice. No pun intended. Okay, good revelation on the entire ground army here for BYUN will allow their rotation to be rather well telegraphed. Yeah, BYUN's got to be careful he doesn't accidentally fall prey to another stasis trap. A stasis trap out across the map would be devastating. That would be game ending for him. So all in all, this is a pretty decent hold here so far. But again, look at that income advantage. Only getting just a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. So it's crazy to think that this is all done in the name of like just winning. Not even getting ahead, not even like, oh, I'm flexing on my opponent. No, this is the bare minimum. This sizable amount of bio. And BYUN knows that he's going to have a bit of an advantage, but he's got about 1 stim in him. 1, maybe 2. Okay, the medevacs show up. There's going to be more opportunities for stim here. This makes this engagement that much more bearable. Great revelations, though. Nice. Never has to worry about where the army is located here. Great force fields, though. Going to split that army in 2. And he's not going to do any pickup behind this. He's just going to let those Marines and Marauders do their work as best as possible, using the ramp a little bit to his advantage as well. BYUN's going to be able to leap on forward. He's got to be careful, though. There is a stasis trap up at the top of this ramp, and if BYUN tries to stim on forward, he could possibly throw away this entire army, but he is just going to be patient and own the space in between the natural and the third base location, because this is just fine. The shield battery overcharge has already been burnt at the back of the third base, so that will no longer be a concern here A great patient amount of play here. Burns the stasis trap at the top of the natural as well. It's going to have mines that deal a decent amount of damage, but you got to be careful here. That stasis trap is very, very close. He's so close to accidentally stepping into that, and it is going to be a non-issue. BYUN, with patient play, exercises his power in game number 5. Brings himself to match point in this best of 9 series. Well, we've got the build, or the building placement from game number 2. Nice is wanting to try and recapture a little bit of the magic here, but Nice has to win out. This could be the greatest reverse sweep of all time, if Nice is able to find a way to make it happen. He's got a lot of work to do. Nice is going to opt against the immediate nexus. Yeah, there it finally goes. Command center on the high ground will be just fine. But it's kind of hard to out-micro the Micro King. Immediately Zealot out onto the map. It's going to create a little bit of chaos on the low ground. This is one of the games, though, that BYUN is not going to go into the crazy fast bio play. No. Sneaky little play there. This is a 1-1-1 opener here. We will have that orbital command coming down as well. Marine should be able to just push this up and away. Dark Shrine. Yep, this is exactly what we found in game number 2. Has BYUN already spotted it, though? Yeah. Yeah, BYUN knows exactly what's coming here. He's already clicked on the Dark Shrine. He knows of its existence. This adept is just gonna get cleaned up. I don't know. I failed to see the path to success here. If he can make it happen, it's gonna be on the back of a very poor play by BYUN. More than likely, BYUN's going to try and bank up at least one scan. Should be able to have a pretty decent grasp on where this warp prism might be coming from. Ultimately, this is BYUN's game to lose at this point. It's a good build by Nice. Nice can still make it work, but like I said, he's got a lot of work to do. The Tech Lab's going to come up. More than likely, this will just be a Raven that pops out. Yeah, there's the Raven. There's the portable detection. Scans won't even be necessary at that point. It does take a while to build a Raven, though, so there will be a window of opportunity here for Nice to get some additional damage. There's already a missile turret down. Oh, it's a rough set of circumstances. And mine up in the main base here. We didn't miss anything just yet. Oh! That was almost bad news. Nice has got all of his most of his probes at least up in the main base. Trying to juggle two very quick microed situations. BYUN not finding that much damage. Only 4 probes get killed off. With that Raven being out, that means that those DTs are not going to find additional damage. So it just ends up being a transition into more bio units for the Terran player. And we see charge coming down for Nice. Nice trying to maintain as much as possible here. Yeah, there come the Archons. Now Archons are going to be the harassing force here. But yeah, there's already a couple of tanks. Most of that is being dealt with. The mine's finally going to get picked off. It's a fair amount of harassment here. Oh, losing the Warp Prism is devastating. BYUN moves so quickly. There will be a transition on the way. The Templar Archives being brought in. The Archons aren't a loss, which is good. It keeps nice in the game. The question is for how long. I think this push will end up being a very, very scary one here, as it will have combat shields. Everything's going to get brought into the equation. We'll have stim pack, we'll have combat shields. Looks like we'll have some medevacs as well as mines, more than likely. Yeah, mines going to be the choice de jeu. Comes a follow-up warp prism. Oh, but where's that going to go? Nowhere. It just gets cleaned up. Nice, going to tap out, and BYUN with a very, very fast speed run here of this best of 9. Going to win 5-1 in the overall series. Well done.